Crazy, huh?
That was unreal, man. Did not expect what happened yesterday in any means, shape, or form. Like everything we talked about, the only thing that changed was where I was like, the Colts are going to have to take deep shots in this game occasionally, you know?
And they did.
And they finally, after all year, and they missed one. I mean, could you imagine if he'd not overthrown Alec Pierce on that one downside? Because that was a touchdown too.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, holy crap, Pierce is just beating everybody down the sidelines this game. Oh my goodness. But that was a lot of crazy football this week, actually.
It was, man. I mean, like, I took the Colts win with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
Only because, like, well, I took it with a grain of salt. One, because it was a divisional game, so you never know what can happen. It can go both ways on, Colts should have lost because who misses an extra point, right? But then again, like, with Derrick Henry out, I feel like they should have fucking just put the foot on their necks, right? Right then and there, as soon as he left the game, like, all right, now your main source of offense is out. Like,
yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean? Like,
but at the same time, Henry is the ground and pound beast, but their other guy is a speedster, you know. So
the Spears kid,
yeah, Tajay Spears,
yeah.
And Levis definitely is not afraid to throw the ball downfield.
Hell no, his accuracy he just puts too much air into the ball too much.
A little bit. I mean, and when you do that, you got to pay attention and make sure there's no one over the top. Like Minshew puts way too much air under it, but all his passes downfield, there was no one over the top to protect. So all he had to do was lead his receiver, and he was safe. You know.
I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is extremely, extremely fucking upset with this guy. I mean, because he missed him. Like, there were 4 balls where he was just like, it was like, it was always like 3rd and long. He's like looking, he's like, what are you doing? You know, so
yeah.
Either way, man, I'm glad the Colts got a win. It makes it a little bit tougher because of what Houston did yesterday. With beating
the Broncos.
Yeah,
I watched that game. I watched that game this morning. I watched part of the Niners Eagles game, and I watched the 4th quarter of. We might have to actually start paying attention and be like, you know what, Love might be legit.
Yeah, they were just talking about that on TV this morning.
That's back-to-back weeks. They walked out with top dog wins, right? I mean, Detroit and then Kansas City.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
I think Kansas City's still very, 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 very dangerous. Can't count them out. I just, from a player standpoint, I just could just tell from the beginning of the game, like, Kansas City didn't have it. They were just too flat from, like, just looking at everybody's body language before the game. Like, it was just like, I don't know what the fuck was going on with them. I don't know if Andy Reid's just, like, fucking pounding on them about shit or what, but
well, it's like the Eagles we've been talking about all week or all year, how the Eagles are just, squeaking out games. Yeah. And if you watch, I don't know if you watched the Eagles Niners game, but the first quarter, the Eagles looked like they were going to just annihilate the Niners. They were moving the ball, scoring on every possession. Niners couldn't move the ball at all.
They needed to win.
Yeah, I know.
Excuse me. I said they needed to lose.
Yeah. See, I picked all year. I've been picking the Eagles to win. I picked them to lose this game for 2 reasons. One, I figured, they're not going to end the season with only 1 loss, and this is the game, right? the Niners game. That's going to be the one. And then what you've been pounding on for like the last 3 or 4 weeks, right? About you need 3 or 4 losses.
Yeah.
Because
you just figure out all the chinks in your armor.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just correct them. And then if you guys see that team again, like it's gonna be a completely different ballgame if they have to play San Francisco again in the playoffs. Yep. Like it's not gonna be the same game, like nowhere near it. Like, and granted, it's gonna be out in San Francisco, but nonetheless, I think it'll be out in San Fran. Nonetheless, it's gonna be it's not gonna be the same result. And they're not necessarily going to win the game. I'm not going to just say that, but I'm just going to tell you it ain't going to be the same result. Like, it's not going to be the same. Eagles team up with something different cooked up. Defensively, they're going to scheme some shit up so where, screens killed them. Those fucking screens killed them.
Yep.
They just have to be able to sniff it out. Like, if they can sniff out when the screen is coming, make those linemen miss, get in the backfield, whatever it is. Like, you see how, like, when Kansas City tried to do like that little shovel pass shit. Like they knew that shit was coming. Look, when he went in motion, he went back to I said, man, he's doing too much movement back there. Like he's coming back across the formation. As soon as the ball snapped, I was like, it's either a jet sweep, no jet sweep. Then it's like, okay, he's running that way, he's gonna dump it.
Yeah.
They saw that shit, man. And shame on the fucking on the center. Like, what kind of half-ass back block was that where you just got your shoulder into him?
Yeah.
I tell you what, my kids were going crazy when Quentin Nelson got ran over in the fourth quarter, and that shit was almost a pick or like, you know what I'm saying? I said, ooh, if you end the game like that, holy smokes.
Well, I mean, you can't win every game. You can't win every snap. That's just the NFL, right?
Lawrence, but here's the deal. Lawrence, hold on before you finish that statement. You can't win every snap, but you cannot lose your matchup in a crucial situation like that. Now, I can see if you got beat up like on the edge and he's hanging off the edge and you got fucking ran over.
Yeah, he did.
It
makes me wonder if his footing wasn't right, the way he fell, because I mean,
man, listen, man, it's NFL, brother.
Mm-hmm.
That dude loaded his shit up and ran through his chest. That's what happened. The only way that he could have stopped that is if he knew the bull rush was coming.
Yep.
You can't, he didn't punch. He didn't, for me, from a perspective of offensive line, he didn't punch, he didn't set, and he was expecting movement. And he got his ass ran over. He was too high. His left hand was outside. It was just all bad. Recipe for disaster. When you need it, you got to have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got saved, though, but fuck.
Yep. Well, let's get this started, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're spilling content. I ain't gonna get this in. All right, let me get to the brand. All right. There we go. You ready?
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Believe in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to Believe in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guy, Donald Thomas. And today, we get Victory Monday for the 4th game in a row. What? The Indianapolis Colts haven't won 4 games straight since Andrew Luck did it 5 games back in 2018. Or no, 2019, I think it was. That's nuts. That's crazy. And especially without top people, right? You don't have your best running back. You do not have your, savior rookie quarterback, and a bunch of other stuff. But there's a lot to go over this game. What was your initial reaction after the game? What do you think of the game in total?
I'll say it every single time. Divisional games you can't look at them as just regular games as an easy win or, a team that's supposed to lose is going to lose this game. Like this. Not that when it comes to the division. I don't care if a team is 0-10 when they're playing you and you're 10-0. Like it can go either way. It can really go either way when it comes to the division. We've been seeing it the past couple of weeks. we've been seeing the past couple of weeks. So you look back, Lions and Packers, and now this game here, where clearly I was like, Colts are just going to run over them. It's going to be what I said, a 3-score game or 2, whatever I said, right? I think I said 31-17. I think that said the score is going to be or something, my prediction last week. But crazy, man. Crazy things happen. And when they happen, I just sit back and I'm like, divisional game. Like if it was a non-divisional game, I'd be like, this is crazy. But divisional game meant anything and everything goes.
Absolutely. And let's talk about something that we haven't been able to talk positively about all year long for the most part, outside of Matt Gay, and that's special teams. Look, Matt Gay had an excellent game again, right? I mean, he had 5 field goals, I believe, if I remember correctly in this game. But he wasn't the star. All right. Isaiah McKenzie had that opening kickoff return almost to midfield, but he wasn't what we need to talk about. Let's talk about those 2 block punts. Well, one of them technically wasn't a block punt because
whatever, man. That was a block. I don't care what they say.
That is a block punt. He got there before the guy could even drop the football. That is nuts.
Yeah, they always want to be technical about something, man. It's a block punt.
That is definitely a block punt. We're going to get into that in just one moment. But before we do, I got to remind everybody, BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, NFL, NBA, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember, use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. So, man, you've seen those 2 block punts, and 2 guys basically went in there untouched. Which one was most impressive to you?
The second one. I mean, the way he timed it up, came in there. The punter saw it. No one else saw it. No communication. The gunner, he's supposed to scream that thing out. Creeper, 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 creeper. I don't think.
And if you watch it, he's pointing.
He pointed, but I don't know how vocal he was. Like he pointed, and that was pretty much it. Like, these dudes are eyeing their dudes up. Like, I got this gap right here. You got a creeper coming in. You need to make that thing vocal because he never looked over at him. They never pushed protection, nothing. So, it was just a great scheme. Like special teams, like you see that kind of stuff like all year, where you see like you're like a special teams coach or any type of coach, offense coordinator, defense coordinator. You see like there's a play to be had at some point this year, and you keep watching film, especially on special teams too. It makes it that much more finite because there's not as many reps as an O or D coordinator has to watch. And so, like, you start seeing, like, listen, these dudes aren't paying attention to this. They're not paying attention. Like, when you pop a fake punt in there and you get it for a first down, you look like a hero. This is no different than yesterday. It happened twice, right? So, crazy. But that second one, man, he timed that thing up perfectly. It couldn't have been any better. That was impressive, the second one. But shame on the Titans for not communicating, too. Like, I'm just a believer of just, like, good communication. I think that's the offensive lineman in me. Like, over-communicate is always a plus just like scream it out. I don't care if they know what we're doing, but just block it up right? Give our guys a chance. And so hats off to the Colts and special teams for making those 2 big plays, those adjustments in the game and finding a weakness.
That first punt was just basically the special teams, the defensive side of the special teams for the Colts overloaded one side. Yep. And there was just too many bodies. At that point, you just kind of feel like you got to make a wall and just hold your arms out and try to protect, right? I mean, that's the situation at that point when you have an overload of that situation, but they were unable to do that. Guy gets in, and then another guy, basically 2 guys, one behind the other, one gets the block. The other one, Grant Stewart, picks the ball up, and he's like, gone, right? There's 7 points for the Indianapolis Colts, which absolutely helped after that debacle of a 2-point conversion on the drive just prior to that by the Indianapolis Colts. Wow. I was all for going for 2 points on that play because I was like, all right, you know what? We're down 5 after the touchdown. 2-point conversion will put us up to a touchdown. Seems Seems fair, right? Rather than 6 points, but who was he throwing to? He just threw it in the middle of a whole group of people, and the Titans just picked it off and took it up the other way. That was nuts.
Yeah, you know what? It happened so fast. Like I literally got up to like walk into the kitchen real quick, and then my kids are like screaming. I'm like, what? I'm like, what just happened? He's like, you picked it off and running it back. I'm like, geez, I'm like, we can't just give it back right away. Like, like I'm like, oh God, but divisional game, right? Divisional game, stuff like this is like, it's almost like it's supposed to happen. It almost seems like it's scripted to a certain degree. We know it's not, right? I'm gonna go on the record and say it's not scripted, but I'm gonna say that it just seems unreal for things like that to happen. Then we fast forward a little bit, then something as easy as a block. I mean, a miss PAT, right? Like, which was damn near automatics for the most part. He shanked it. I mean, he pulled that thing so far left. It was incredible. Like, I don't even know. And so then they want to blame it on, Tannehill being the backup holder. I'm like, man, he just shanked that thing because it wasn't like it was the ball's placed right where he said, right where he wanted to place it. The laces were out. It wasn't like a Ray Finkel job or nothing like that, right? So I don't know, man. It was just like, okay, here we go. Still tie ball game. It's anyone's game, right? And so then the coaches answered at the end. The last man with the ball won the game.
Absolutely. Now, Minshew did have a couple what the heck moments like he does every game, but his splash plays that he made absolutely made up for it in this game, right? This was a game where, yes, he had a fumble on a sack. He had that weird 2-point conversion return for a touchdown, but I mean, you look at what he ended up doing. He was like 62% completions, 300 yards, couple touchdowns, and he stretched the field, not just with Alec Pierce, but people seem to forget he had a couple deep shots to Kylan Granson as well, right, in this game. This was a game where the Colts looked like they were coming in and they had a thought process of, if it's there, I'm actually going to freaking take it. And Minshew looked good taking those shots.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I think he surprised everybody, surprised the defense, especially – you can tell that the coordinators know what the stuff that we say, they already know it, right? Like they don't take deep shots, blah, 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 blah. Like you got caught sleeping. First drive or whatever, early in the game, touchdown 6, right? So here's the thing, like he's an NFL quarterback. He can throw the ball downfield. He has an arm enough to get the ball downfield, right? So you got to respect it. It's just that he's made bad decisions, as history shows that he hasn't thrown the ball down the field the best, right? But it can be there when it needs to be there, and guys can make plays when they're asked to. So, as soon as Alec Pierce caught that touchdown, like the first person I'm gonna think about is you, right? And so I actually hopped on the live stream for a second. I didn't say anything, but I wanted to see your expression because your live stream was like a little bit behind, right? So I was able to like hop on and see you hadn't seen the touchdown yet, so it's kind of funny to see your reaction to it. But I always go back to like I know, but it's always funny to see go back to what I think it was like week 2 or 3. You said your patience was running thin with them, and and rightfully so. But I'm just saying, like some guys just need a little bit more time to develop, right? And so like when guys can get more comfortable, it's a high stakes game, and you want results right now. This ain't basketball where you're looking for the potential of a guy developing for 3-4 years and then becomes like perennial all-star. This is like, hey brother, we drafted you. It's time to go. Like we don't have time to be developing you. We don't have a G League. You don't have that. We don't. You know what I'm saying? So like I think he's really starting to kind of come into his own a little bit. And he's in a good place right now in this offense because he's able to make catches. I mean, he would have 300-400 yards, right? Granted, that first one was a huge bomb, right? But like he had 300-400. Yeah. So he made big plays when they counted, right? He caught the football when it counted. Michael Pittman, 11 for 105. He had a big game yesterday, and he's starting to show his worth. And so those two guys are the leaders on the receiving core as they've been kind of all year, in my opinion. So that's off to him as far as in the pass game, not taking a lot of chances, but making good throws and more importantly, guys catching the football.
See, with Alec Pierce, what I was getting frustrated with wasn't the fact that he couldn't get open. Film rooms I was watching, dude's getting open all the time. But early in the season, when he was targeted, he was having issues coming down with the football. You know, he hit his hands and it would come out. And that's where I was losing my patience with. I was like, dude, when your number's called, you got to make the play, right? Especially when the ball is there. And in the interview with Gardner Minshew after the game, he started talking about, yeah, I'm starting to trust him more, basically, is what he said when he made those passes. You know, you make plays like that, it really gains your trust in throwing him the ball in those kinds of situations. And that might be one of the reasons why he hasn't been targeted for those deep shots when he is open downfield, because Gardner did not trust him when he called his number from earlier in the season. And I think now this game could be that turning point where you might see Alec Pierce's number called on those deep shots more often now that he has shown that he can come down with the football.
Yeah, I mean, look, listen, he only had 3 targets, right? So, I mean, he had, what, 3?
He had 4 targets. One
4
was
targets, yes. Yeah. So 4. It's not a ton of balls coming your way, right? So there's still you're still gaining my trust a little bit. And, you know, rightfully so. I haven't seen the all 22, but so I can't say if he was open more than, 4 times to warrant him getting the ball thrown his way. But at the same time, there's still not a ton of throws to him, but he did make, 75% of his of the catches. So, nonetheless, he is in a good spot where he's really starting to gain trust. I mean, if this game right here didn't gain Gardner Minshew's trust, I don't know what else he can do possibly to gain it at this point. So I would have to err on the side of he's going to get more balls thrown to him. Can he handle the workload? We shall see, because I know Michael Pittman, he's gonna warrant attention. He's gonna warrant double teams. He's gonna warrant a safety over the top. He's gonna get all that because he is their number 1 receiver. And so now this is where Alec can really make some hay here of, becoming that guy where it's like, hey, whoa. You can't just forget about me because I make plays too, right? And so I want to see him get the ball. Man, I want to see him make someone miss and like scoop for 50 yards. Like, I want to see that. I want to, instead of just, a deep ball, catch the ball, for 6, I want to see him make a play. I want to see him like got a shake right here, what I'm saying? Yards after the catch, get hit, bounce off, get it, 10, 15, 20 extra yards, like get up, pump your chest, spin the ball. Like, I want to see that out of him. I think when you get this Cincinnati, Alec Pierce, I think it's going to be trouble.
So our biggest point, if I told you that Zach Moss would carry the ball 19 times for only 51 yards, only 2.7 yards a carry, in this game against the Titans, you wouldn't think the Colts would win, and they ended up doing so. I think the Titans did a very good job against Moss. It looked like that they were really focused more on stopping the run than they were protecting against that, long shot passes. I mean, even with the presser after the game, Mike Vrabel was asked about that, and he says, I think we may have to start playing more cover 2 than what I normally do. He straight up said that. So that kind of tells you they were more worried about the run game, even with Jonathan Taylor out, than they were about Gardner Minshew, burning them downfield.
Well, Zach Moss warrants that. I mean, he ain't no slouch. Mm-hmm. He's proven that the first 4 or 5 games of the season that he can tote the ball. But here's the thing, like, Tennessee's strength is up front anyway. So nonetheless, it wasn't a thing of like they were, really focusing on stopping the run. Like, that is where they're best at doing, is stopping the run. I was just, it's funny. I sit there and I can't call a football game offensively, but I can tell you when it's a good time to throw and run the football. And I always tell my son, I'm like, before, like, as soon as the running back gets the ball, I'm like, it's going to be a good run. He's like, how do you know that? I could just tell by the offensive line. When that offensive line gets the proper angles, they get the proper push, just on that right edge. And it's all about, like, the speed of how the running back gets that football and takes off, right? If he hits that thing and makes this cut, I know it's going to be a good run. And so yesterday, I just didn't see it as much with the Colts. I didn't see the push up front that we've been seeing in the previous 3 weeks or so. Like, I just didn't see it. I'm like, man, it's so stagnant at the line of scrimmage. When it's like this, it's tough sledding for anybody. When the offense can get that push on them just enough, a yard or two, that gives that running back that extra 2 or 3 steps to hit that hole hard and get those extra yards. You just didn't see it. There was just a lot of like stalemates at the line of scrimmage. It didn't help, right tackle went down, stuff like that. It all factors into, guys having to step in. You're cold, you're not confident. You didn't probably think you were playing this week. Interior wise, like those guys in the interior are stout, and so like it just didn't. You just didn't get that good run flow like that we've been seeing. So the 51 yards wasn't surprising when you really kind of watched how this game played out. Luckily, Tennessee did enough to lose a football game, and the Colts did just enough to win.
Yeah, let's go and talk about the one real negative for the Colts defense. And it's been the negative for like the last few weeks, and that's their run defense. Look, Derrick Henry had 100 yards rushing on the day. As a team, they had over 175 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Right. My goodness, that's a recipe for success every freaking time, But again, like you said, Colts did enough to win the game. That's another situation. Now, that was the last game. Grover Stewart will be out for his suspension. He will be back, so that should help. But man, that still makes me wonder, because during this time that Grover Stewart's been out, the Indianapolis Colts, we've talked about their run defense, kind of pushing off, but their pass defense has been out freaking standing. Let me hit you with some stats.
Hit me.
So, since right now in the NFL, the Indianapolis Colts is tied for 5th in interceptions, 2nd in forced fumbles, and 2nd in the league in sacks. That is, as a defense, that right there, those are 3 major statistics, in my opinion. And they went from, and I kid you not, week 5, they were dead last in the NFL in passing yards allowed. Now they're 15th. They made that jump from dead last to middle of the pack in, a 7-game week. I think that speaks volumes on how this pass defense, both pass rush wise, you also got to remember they are dead last in the NFL in blitz percentage, 14.5%. They are the least blitzing team in the NFL and have the 2nd most sacks. The defensive line alone has 37.5 sacks on the season. Just the defensive line. That's unreal. Do we have the best pass rushing defensive line in football?
Statistically, it's the answer is clear. It's yes. So like, what's my answer? My answer is going to be yes if we're just going off of stats alone. Everything that you just said about the defense is a recipe for them winning football games, right? So when you have, the front 4 that can get after the quarterback, you don't need to bring anybody else in there. And then guys talk about Gus Bradley not blitzing, but why the hell do I need a blitz if my front 4 can do the job for me? Now everyone else can just sit back and play in their zones, and zone defense can be tricky and eluding. If a quarterback think he sees one thing, you don't, because there's a 9 times out of 10, there's maybe a linebacker sitting in that zone area. There's a corner that you think is going to be running off with the receiver, and he drops off in the safety. It's just, you know what I'm saying? So like, I don't need to be up there with the blitzes. I don't need to, be up there with all these extra pressures, nor do I'm just going to rely on my guys doing what they're getting paid to do. Like, you're paid to rush the quarterback. You guys are paid to stop the run. You guys are paid to, break up passes. And so I think now guys have really kind of started to drink the Kool-Aid, drink the Gus Bradley Kool-Aid, so to speak, as opposed to maybe listen to outside sources on, we don't blitz, we don't do X, Y, and Z, trying to learn zones hard, blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, you just got to trust the process. You just have to trust the process and trust that the man that's been put in charge of leading you guys is putting you all in a good spot each time on the field. And so I think that this is really starting to show that the Colts can play zone. They don't have to rush, 5 guys, 6 guys all the time. And everyone can kind of just sit back and kind of play their technique and just do their job. Just do your job. I hate to say it because everyone, this is Colts Nation, but just be like Belichick. Just do your job. Don't do anybody else's. And when the ball comes in your way, make a play.
The Indianapolis Colts right now are on pace defensively to have more sacks than any on the season than any other, like a record. They're on pace to get 60 sacks on the season. Even the Dwight Freeney, Robert Mathis days never got to 60 sacks on a season. It's unreal. Now, obviously, we still got 5 games left on the year, but they're averaging over three sacks a game. That's it. Almost 4 sacks a game. That's pretty impressive for any defense. So, one thing I do want to talk about: experience matters. Playtime experience matters. Earlier this year, we lost a lot of our starting corners, and we were really worried about our pass defense. Mm-hmm. And over that period of time, we have seen our guys get up and start making plays, learning and getting better week after week after. Darrell Baker Jr. had an absolute fantastic job against DeAndre Hopkins. Now, Jalen Jones, on the other hand, had his issues, but Darrell Baker Jr. had a fantastic day yesterday, and you're starting to see how much that experience of just getting out there and playing, because these guys they haven't had any. Jalen Jones is a rookie, right? And Darrell Baker Jr. never took a snap as a starting corner in the NFL before this season. So you're seeing these guys get this experience. We get some guys back. I think our secondary might actually be pretty good, because we all know Dallas Flowers was playing excellent until he went out on IR. Juju Brents was improving week to week as well before he had his hamstring issue. I feel like this Colts defense as a whole, we may have underrated this defense. Well, when I say we, I'm saying Colts fans in general underrated this defense more so than they should have.
You might be onto something. Teams that win Super Bowls, teams that make long runs into the playoffs, they all have good defenses. Like, there's never been a team that we always say, if you can't run the ball, you can't win a game. You can't go deep into the playoffs. We know that, right? The Colts have shown that they have a decent running game, right? When we get both these guys back healthy, just at the right timing towards the end of the season, that'll take care of itself. What's going to propel this team down the line is going to be this defense really, really getting better each week, because you can't make certain mistakes against these other better teams. Like, I know Kansas City lost, but you can't make those same mistakes against Kansas City. I know that Buffalo is middle of the pack, record-wise. You can't make those mistakes against a Buffalo team, and you damn sure can't make the mistakes against the Ravens, right? So you're going to have to play good defense in order to keep yourself in these football games and give your offense a fighting chance. And I think that that's what the Colts really are starting to evolve into this part of the season. And it's great that's happening in December. It's a progression, right? September's, hey, we're still trying to figure out who the hell this team is. October, all right, they can't do this right. We got to switch to this, blah, blah, blah. And then November, December is the time where, hey, listen, we got to start locking in. And so the Colts right now, you said it, over the past 7 weeks, went from last to middle of the pack. But what do the next 5 weeks have to offer, right? We could jump up to be a top 10 passing defense. Hell, this might be a top 5 defense overall, top 3 when you really want to put all the stats together with the sacks, the pressures on the quarterback, stopping the run. You get Grover back. He's going to take a couple weeks to really he's going to take 2-3 weeks to get back into game shape. You're going to see a lot of this probably, coming out, because you can't simulate. You cannot simulate game reps. And that's what training camp is really for, to give you that, to get back into game shape. And he's a big man. And it's going to take him some time to get back into game shape. So I wouldn't really expect a ton out of Grover. He'll flash now. I'm telling you what, whoever that guard or that center is, when he lines up his first play, you got hell to pay. I'm just telling you that right now, because he's going to come off that rock and he's going to give you everything he's got, those first 2 or 3 plays, and he's coming out. He's coming out for 2 or 3 plays, right? So, but guys have stepped up in the middle. I would like to see DeForest get just a couple just get a little bit more active. I think, they're really starting to key in on him. I was really watching. Reason why he wasn't getting that much pressure was because you're getting a lot of slide protection to his way. And so that's going to slow him down a little bit. And that's what they're designing it too. But it's also what's happening now is these edge guys now, when you slide protection, you slide it one way or the other. That the way you slide away from now, that's one-on-one matchup on that backside. So that's what
they're winning that. So that's what you got to see.
And that's what people don't understand. It's like, you go, the forces you get all the sacks. Like, you understand that they're sliding his direction because the guard can't handle him one-on-one. So that's giving the guys on the outside a chance to eat. Like, and then when he has to get one-on-one, because you can't always just double team every play, he's causing havoc in there. So that's why the Colts up front are being so successful. And it's like the unsung heroes, right? Like, it just took teams a little bit longer towards season. Like, we got to control the force. He's kind of out of control right now. He can be a game changer. All right, we'll do that. Well, these other guys like, all right, go ahead. Now I get to eat. I'm one-on-one. You can't stop me. I'm just going to go right by this guy. I'm going to hit him with a move. So, they're a dangerous defense. And right now, like, honestly, the rest of the season, and you can't just give it to them, but I'm just going to Bengals, they got hell to pay. Steelers look bad. They look bad the other day. Falcons are the tricky team, man. I'm telling you. Those Falcons are tricky, bro. I just don't know what to think of them. And then the Raiders, come on now. And then this last matchup, Colts will go 3-1 the rest of the season, and have them what? I'll have them what?
10-6.
Well, 10-6.
I'd make them 10-6 going into the last game of the year.
And that's going to be the game that's going to really decide, I think, what's going to happen in the rest of this division with the wild card spot. And that's going to be crazy.
Yep.
It's going to be nuts, man. That's going to be a game where they might have to move that thing to 4:00 game, because that's going to be the game to watch.
Yep. It seems like right now, as things are going right now, they've got 2 games that are flex on their schedule right now. So I feel like there's a good possibility the Colts could get, if not a prime time, because those flex games could be moved to a Saturday. We've seen that quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Any final words about the game before we end this episode?
Colts fans, hang on now. There's we can't get too high, right? But you can be happy. It's Victory Monday. Season has gone better than expected, in my opinion. They just got to keep playing defense and continue just to not turn the ball over on offense, and we should be in every football game here on out.
My final word is we got to pay Michael Pittman Jr. He just broke the Indianapolis Colts all-time record, most receptions in his first 4 seasons. He just passed Marvin Harrison, and he's still got a few games left. Now, granted, the last couple of years he's had an extra game to do it, but we got 5 games left. That counts, right, on that. So he's beat him in legit time.
Yeah,
and to me, that's impressive. So obviously it won't happen until after the season is over, but Michael Pittman Jr., those of you who keep saying he's not a number 1, he's playing like one.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm just saying in general. He's putting the numbers up. So
no, he is, right. And this could be a whole other episode. And I read someone's comment on YouTube that could be a whole nother episode. It could be a whole nother episode, but you have to ask yourself, is he a number 1 on another offense? Like another good team, is he the number 1 option, or would he be the number 2? Right. And so, like, I'm just saying, like, the Colts are going to pay him regardless. They're going to pay him. You have to warrant his success. They say his success warrants his payday. I'm not disputing that, but I'm just saying, like, I still feel like we got to get one more receiver in here, big time receiver, to complement him, and not a guy like a guy that has like 1 year left, like on his knees, and he's like a Julio Jones type. We don't need that in Indy. We need a guy that's a dog.
Well, what if Alec Pierce or Josh Down develop into somebody like that?
They can, but we still need one more receiver.
Okay.
We need 3 really, really good receivers. I think. Huh? I think Al Pierce can be one of those guys, but we just need one more. It's one outside source in that a guy like in his 5th, 6th year, you find like I don't know who this guy. I don't know, who's up for free agency, all that kind of stuff or trades, and I don't get into all that. But I'm just that's just my opinion. Is one more guy,
Okay,
one more big time receiver in Indy, and they are deadly because you got AR coming back. It's gonna be a problem next year, man. It's gonna be a problem.
absolutely. We'll get into more of that on future episodes, but for right now, I think that's going to end it for this episode of Believe in Colts, brought to you by Bet Online. I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Donald Thomas. And as usual, go Colts.
Go Colts, baby.
Do you believe?
Do you have time to go over some games from yesterday?
I got 12:30 call. It's going to be tight.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can you, do you have tomorrow available?
I'm in Miami tomorrow. I leave at 6 a.m. and I get back at 10:30 p.m.
10:30? Oh, that's
I'm in Miami one day. I'm flying down and flying right back.
Okay. Well,
but I figure we would do the one after the what's called what does like this evening look like? Are you shot this evening?
No, I'm pretty good.
I mean, I can't give you a definite time, but I could probably squeak one out this evening once I get the kids back from their evening activities and stuff.
You want to do a live stream this evening?
How long is a live stream?
We can run a live stream anywhere from half an hour to however long you want to run. So it's up to you.
Okay. Yeah. We could possibly do that. Because I don't want to not do one a second show. Yeah, let me just because I know my son's got workouts at 6. He's done at 7. And once I just get them together and stuff like that, like I'll just call or text you around like 7:30 or whatever and give you a better estimate on time. But it won't be super late.
Okay, just let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know when. Just let me know as soon as you know. Okay?
I got you.
All right. That way I can get because it takes me about half hour, 45 minutes just to set up a live stream. So
Okay.
All
right. That's cool.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
Enjoy your time.
All right, man. You too. Appreciate it.